Thanks a million, Marius, and to you as well for your attention this morning. So what I'm going to speak to you about is a case study about a campaign, an awareness campaign that we ran in Ireland around juvenile idiopathic arthritis. The campaign was supported by a grant from AbbVie, and please feel free to take pictures if you so choose. One of the interesting things about this campaign was, while it was an awareness initiative in terms of getting parents and younger people, but parents primarily, to be proactive in terms of managing their kids' health, the normal type of stuff that we do. One of the challenges with the Irish system is that while people may be able to get access to GPs, that ultimately getting access to the expert pediatric rheumatologists services are particularly complicated and challenging, more than a little challenging. So when we started the campaign in the spring of 2018, there were 900 children under the age of 16, young children and young people who were waiting to see a pediatric rheumatologist. The frightening thing about these figures is that that number had risen by a third in the previous 12 months. More startling, though, is that the number of kids who are waiting longer than 12 months, because part of the campaign itself around Don't Delay, Connect Today is getting early intervention. But one of the challenges of a system where 60% of the kids on that waiting list are there for more than 12 months is a big problem. And that number itself had increased by 80%, nearly doubled in the space of the 12 months. When you look at the provision of services, according to the Irish model of care, there should be 6 pediatric rheumatologists for a population of our size, but in fact there is just 2. And so we wanted to highlight that aspect and try and bring some political pressure to bear. And that's, I suppose, the situation charted graphically. So the campaign itself wanted to do 3 specific things. It wanted to give a voice to young people living with juvenile arthritis, because we know it's a doubly confounding condition. Louise mentioned there a second ago in terms of most people don't expect kids to have arthritis. So if you're one of those children or young people and you're trying to tell your peers, I've got this thing, juvenile arthritis, and they're looking at you and they don't understand what it's like, they question how all of that can even be possible. So we wanted to give those a voice. We wanted to raise awareness and understanding at a broader level, at societal level, in schools and so on. And then we did want to advocate for provision of better services. So as part of the campaign, we implemented across a number of different channels. We had young people who were our ambassadors. We created a video. We developed an infographic. A specialist microsite used the mainstream media. And we also developed a petition. These are the kids who were our campaign ambassadors. We started out with a group of 7. But actually, as the campaign grew, a number of others contacted us and said, I want to be part of this as well. And they were fantastic because they were the ones who organised local initiatives in their own school. And anytime we shared anything about them, it generated a huge amount of engagement. I just want to show you one. Actually, one of the things that we wanted to do was speak to youth culture about JIA. So we developed this video which features a soundtrack from a very popular Irish band called Picture This, who gave us the rights to use the music. And the whole idea was that if kids can't even do something as normal as dancing without feeling pain, can you imagine how limiting this particular condition is? So we were highlighting the fact that it's an invisible disease, you can't see it, and you won't know about it unless it affects you. And one of the things was the campaign itself, or the song, was called Take My Hand. So we capitalized on that idea and we asked people to sign our petition at a particular bespoke website that we developed. This is just a quick glance at the infographic that we developed, which highlighted the key aspects from an educational perspective around GIA and then also the severe condition of the disease. That's just some shots in terms of the media coverage. We got everything from television, national press, radio, online, and so on. Ultimately, in terms of looking at social media, there was 820,000 people reached as a result of that, with an engagement rate of 2.5%. Normally with these things, anything over 1% is very positive. So to get 2.5% is really positive. That's just some views in terms of how the video operated. It was very much a Facebook campaign because this is what we wanted. This is where we were kind of driving people. In terms of the petition itself, we had a target of 5,000 people that we were hoping would sign it. But in fact, we got over 3 times that number to sign the petition, reaching over 17,000. One of the things that we did was we asked people to describe why they were signing the petition. And this is where a lot of the richness came through. Because we could see that people really were affected in their own personal lives. And I just put up some of the kind of the quotes from that. Our children need to be cared for. A delay is a sentence to daily pain. And that, of course, is at the heart of what the Don't Delay, Connect Today message is about. And even where people weren't relatives, they were looking at their neighbours, their friends. For my dear friend's little girl, you couldn't say it better. Her life should be an adventure, not a daily pain. And of course, that's what we were trying to do. We were saying childhood is an adventure. It is an exciting period of your life. Your dreams, your ambitions, your everyday living shouldn't be reduced or in any way restricted. What we wanted to do with all of that, though, was apply political pressure. We wanted politicians to realise that there are votes in arthritis, that our children not alone have a right to better healthcare and to be able to access that, shouldn't be waiting protracted periods of time where there's an unreal amount of damage potentially being caused. But we'd seen them make what effectively were mealy-mouthed promises over many years and kind of do a lot of hand-wringing. So finally, as a result of the campaign, lots of other actions that were happening as well, there was a lot of pressure brought on politicians to bear at this time in the National Parliament. And in fact, the Minister for Health told one of the parents who was involved in the campaign, he said, "You're putting me under an awful lot of pressure." And as a result of those kind of interventions, the Prime Minister, Taoiseach Leo Varadkar, shortly after our campaign ran during our National Arthritis Week, which is the beginning of April, and a month after that, he stood up in the Parliament and addressed specifically the situation regarding the 6 rheumatologists. Now, it's very hard sometimes to get definitive statements from politicians regarding investments, but this was as good as we were going to get from him. And while he said it is intended as part of the service plan for the health services that next year they would kind of make further investments, the good news was that at the end of the year, they did confirm that investment, not only the approval of appointment of a 3rd rheumatologist, but also a multidisciplinary team. But of course, here yet again where we come to the gap between political promises and plans and actual action, because currently there's a recruitment embargo in the Irish Health Services. But what they have said, though, is that despite the embargo, that these services, the appointment of the multidisciplinary team is so crucial that it actually is going to be exempt from the embargo. So the hope now is that it's going to be, those roles will be finished and approved and fulfilled during the course of the summer. So I just want to acknowledge the people who supported the campaign, the kids, the parents, and those in the health service and the hospital who thanked us. Thank you for your attention.